Good profit trading London and New York. Today I traded both London and New York sessions for a short period of time. In London I managed to take 1.32% and trading New York I managed to take 1.24%, giving me a total of 2.6% profit. Please remember to hit subscribe and let's get straight over to the charts. So ready for this US dollar news event that's coming out now. 6 seconds to go. Let's see what happens. Okay, this is the news candle now that's just opened. Just flicking through the US dollar pairs. Maybe my platform's frozen. That sometimes happens. No, it's moving. Okay, we're seeing the CAD move at the moment, but because that's in a favourable pair, I'll get in the US dollar Canadian dollar there, taking this long. Just put in my stop loss. You see the way that trade's set up, the way that that price action's moving, I would have taken this, I would have been looking for an entry on this anyway. The way that we trade using the criteria that we do at the Price Action Traders Institute. So that's my stop loss in. Let's see if there's anything else to take. So the Japanese yen getting slightly strong. Just flicking through these pairs. Yeah, we're definitely seeing some Japanese yen strength going on. And Canadian dollar weakness. I'm going to sell the New Zealand dollar US dollar again on that US dollar news trade. Again, this is a trade whereby the price action that we've already seen throughout the Asian session and the London session, I'd be looking for an entry on this to sell anyway. So there we go. 2 trades at the moment. See what's happening on the pound. Pound showing weakness. Not too interested in that at the moment. Sell on the Australian dollar US dollar. Again, seeing the price action that's happened throughout Asia and London, this is a trade that I'd be taking short anyway. I'd be looking for an entry on this anyway. So let's see what's moving. Seeing weakness on the Australian dollar. I'm keeping this going real time just so you can see how we manage these trades. Okay, that US dollar Japanese yen, like I say, we saw that that Japanese yen strength pushing this down, but where that US dollar is starting to show some strength now, it's bringing it back up. Seeing a nice move there, although that could be driven partially by the CAD, the US dollar CAD. It's being driven by the US dollar and the CAD on that one. There's not really a great deal going on, so I'll pause this for the time being, and I'll come back to you towards the close of this candle and see where we are with these trades that I've taken. Okay, I'll be back shortly. Okay, back again now. We've got a new candle open. Just run through these trades that I took. Still holding on to the news trades. The Australian dollar US dollar, you can still see still hanging around. It pushed down, pulled back a little bit, but this is fine. I can hang on to this. Sticking with our rules, it's absolutely fine for me to stay with this trade, and I'll see what this does. Still looking for further downside movement on the Australian dollar US dollar. Actually took this at 91 on that news event. US dollar Canadian dollar, sticking with this. Price held above that entry point what I took. Again looking for further upside movement. I was seeing some weakness in the Canadian dollar as well as that little bit of strength I was seeing in the US dollar. So that led on to me taking a trade on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen. Took this as it came through one of our entry points. Nothing to do with the news, wasn't news related at all. It just came through one of our entry points. I took this short, looking for further downside movement. But this candle you can see sucked back, and sticking with our rules, I had to punch out of this, losing 3 pips. So 3 pips down on the Canadian dollar Japanese yen and New Zealand dollar US dollar. Again, this is holding its own. It's holding below that entry level that I took. This was another news trade. So just hanging in there with these, see what these 3 trades do that I'm in at the moment. The Australian dollar US dollar, US dollar Canadian dollar and New Zealand dollar US dollar. And I'll pause for a moment and I'll be back soon if there's any changes. Back again with an update. There's a couple of changes in the positions I'm holding. The Euro Japanese yen's come through one of our entry points. I've taken this long, looking for further upside movement. Took this at 36. The Australian dollar US dollar. This was one of the trades that I took on that news event, and I got stopped out on that. Took a full stop, losing 10 pips, and I've re-entered it as it's come through one of our entry points there. Still looking for further downside movement on this. Might see this bounce off that daily previous day's high, or maybe not. It's pushing through right now, but okay, we'll see what this does anyway. I've got this short looking for further downside movement. No change on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, still holding this big pullback there. I'm looking for further upside movement on this, looking for it to spin round. And New Zealand dollar, US dollar, again, another big pullback, getting close to my stop. Looking for further downside movement on this, looking for it to spin round and go back down again. Okay, I'll pause for now and I'll be back if there's any changes. Back again with an update just to let you know how these trades are going. The euro, US dollar, still holding that. It's not looking great at the moment. We saw this nice big move up on this candle, big powerful move, moved through an area where I could jump in it, and since then it's just hovering around. 2 candles now, sucked back a little bit, so price is actually right on my entry point. Just looking for that to move outside of that area for further upside movement. The euro, Japanese yen, exactly the same story on this. That big move to the upside here, and since then it's just dying out with these last 2 candles, moving back down again. Pound US dollar, saw this with a move out through an entry point, and since then last candle closed actually on the price where I got in, so I'm hanging on to this just to see what this next candle does, see if it turns around and comes back out again. Pound Japanese yen, trade that I took on this has taken a full stop. Just need to update my journal. So that's minus 12 pips. So GJ, full stop on this. I'll be looking for a re-entry if price starts to move out towards the upside again. Australian dollar, US dollar, seeing this move back towards where my entry was. You can see that this last candle actually came very, very close to stopping me out. Since then, price is pulling back down again. US dollar, Canadian dollar, price on the last 3 candles just hung around the entry point. You see this happen so often. You take trades and price just seems to peter out. The price action that you've seen seems to peter out, and it just hangs around there for ages. So still got this long, looking for further upside movement on this. And so that's it for the time being. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trades at the moment. And I'll pause again and be back soon if there's any changes. I'll quickly flick through these. The Australian dollar, US dollar, still holding this re-entry that I took. You can see it's starting to pull back a bit now. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, nice big move down on this. We saw some strength kicking in on the Japanese yen. I took 25 pip profit on that. The US dollar, Japanese yen, still holding this, still showing profit. It's been through that 80 level, but you can see sucking back through again, and don't know, who knows, is that going to kick off again? We just have to sit and watch it. So US dollar, Japanese yen, still holding that from 91, looking for further downside movement. US dollar, Canadian dollar, this is holding its own, nothing spectacular, just moving up gradually, slightly above where I took that trade there at that was at 64. Took that on the news trade. And the Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, seen this come through this 87 on the last candle, sucked back. This candle closed, the last candle closed actually on that 87.00. So looking for this to come back down through this. I've actually got 10 pips locked in on this right now. So where am I at the moment? I'm down 30 pips. Even with that 25 pip win, I'm down 30 pips at the moment. And holding some trades. I've got a few where I've locked in break evens and take profit and some price stops. So you can see I've locked in 10 pips on this one. Just flick back through these. This one, there's not enough profit there to start locking in just yet, so I'll leave that where it is. US dollar, Japanese yen, again, not enough of a profit there to even try and lock anything in. We need to give these trades a little bit of room to breathe sometimes. And the Australian dollar, US dollar, exactly the same with that. There's just not enough there to lock anything in yet. So just wait and see what these do. Okay, I shall pause again and I'll be back very soon. Okay, quick update as we're seeing some of the pairs moving quite strong now. Australian dollar, US dollar isn't one of them. You can see that's just going sideways, small moves there, still in profit. And in fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to lock in break even on this. If it pulls back, in fact, I can give that a little bit more. Let me just bring this down again. What I want to do is just use that 0-0 level as a buffer. So there you go. I won't lose anything on that trade if it comes back, and it can use that 0-0 as a buffer for some further downside move, hopefully. US dollar, Japanese yen. You can see this has moved down. I've locked in break even on this through that 80 level. Again, it's punched through it 3 times now. It's the 3rd time, hoping it closes below this and carries on moving down. Seeing that strength in the Japanese yen starting to take place again and pull these pairs down. US dollar, Canadian dollar, move through that 80. I've actually got Just checking. I've actually got 10 pips locked in on this, and it's way below that 80 level, so I'm hoping that's going to be safe for further upside movement. Seeing that Canadian dollar weakness taking place right now. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, beautiful move there, coming close to my take profit down there, just above the 80 level. I've actually got 20, I think it's 20 pips locked in on this. Yeah, 20 pips, just over 20 pips. So let's see if it makes that final push and hits that take profit. And that's it. They're the only trades I'm holding right now. Just those 4 trades. Okay, I'll pause for a moment and I'll be back if there's any changes, any updates. Okay, just running through these again, considering punching out very soon as I'm running out of time. Just quickly look at these trades again. You can see the Australian dollar, US dollar's pulled back a bit there. Though we're seeing a blue candle right now, so maybe it'll pull down a bit more. The US dollar, Japanese yen, again, this is sucked back a little bit, coming back up through that 80 level at the moment. So, like I say, I've got break even locked in on this, so I won't be losing anything if that comes back up. US dollar, Canadian dollar, that's staying above that 80 and still moving up. And you can see here, Japanese yen's pulling this Canadian dollar back up a little bit, but we're still overall seeing that weakness in the Canadian dollar. Look at that little pop just to bring it down into that take profit that I've got just a little bit below where it is right now. I'll pause for now and be back with an update soon. Okay, back again. It's the first chance I've had to finish this recording off. Just run through these final trades I punched out of everything some time ago, you can see. The Australian dollar, US dollar, lowest win of all, it's the smallest win of all today, was just 4 pips on that. Australian dollar, Japanese yen, that was a reasonable trade, 25 pips taken on that as price come from here way down to here. US dollar, Japanese yen, I took 14 pips on that, punching out with a 14 pip profit. US dollar CAD, took this long and ended up taking 20 pips out of this trade. And Canadian dollar, Japanese yen, biggest win of the day was 36 pips. Took this short and this just powered down. Beautiful move, and it continued down further after I got out of that. So that was a nice 36 pips there. And so, summing everything up, pips taken, profits, losses, everything else, you can see that through New York, the trades I took was 12. I won 5 of those trades, giving me 99 pips. I lost 7 of those trades, losing me 55 pips. Give me a total of 44 pips for the New York session and a profit of 1.24%. I traded London this morning after working with the Price Action Traders Institute members. After the live webinar, I traded the London session, very short session for me, and I took 20 pips from that. So all in all, the daily profit was plus 2.60%, 2.6%. So a good day, good profitable day, and worked out really well. If you would like to find out more about the live webinars at the Price Action Traders Institute or how we trade, you can go to my website, www.uk2asia.com. And please subscribe if you like these videos, if you get anything from them, and to get the heads up, please click on subscribe and click on the little bell and you'll get a notification as and when I post new videos. Okay, thanks very much for watching this, and I'll be back again soon with another video. Thank you.